All right, guys, this is the review of 12.1 and 12.2. You're going to take a quiz over this on Monday. So let's just take a look at all of these matrices up at the top first. Remember, when you state the dimensions of a matrix, you do rows by columns. So 1, 2, 3 rows by 1, 2 columns. That's a 3 by 2 matrix. That means B is a 3 by 3 matrix. That means C is a 2 by 2. D is a 2 by 2. E is a 1 by 3. F is a 3 by 1. See the difference there? 1 across, 3 vertical versus 3 across and 1 vertical. And then G is a 3 by 2. Keeping in mind that when you add matrices, they have to have the same dimensions, and when you multiply matrices, your middle two numbers have to match up. So let's jump in and see how we do here. And I'm just going to do a whole lot of copying and pasting of the different boxes into each place. So feel free to copy and paste as well. So if we are doing A plus G, remember we said they have to have the same dimensions to be able to add them. These do have the same dimensions, so we're good there. And then you will get the same dimensions as your answer. So the first one here is going to be top left plus top left equals top left. So 2 plus 3 is 5. 0 plus 10 is 10. 3 plus 7 is 10. 6 plus a negative 5 is 1. Negative 3 plus 3 is 0. And then 4 plus a negative 4 is also 0. So this will be A plus G. Then we have A minus G. So I'm actually just going to copy my A plus G and see if it will let me erase some things here. I bet it's not going to. Shucks. Let's undo that. Okay, let's just redo here. So we're going to copy A, drop that in, copy G, drop that in. And subtraction, you got to be careful with, because it's really easy to mix up negatives when we're subtracting in between here. So take your time, do a good job with it. It'll be all good. All right, so the first one, 2 minus 3, so that's a negative 1. 0 minus 10 is a negative 10, so that's top right. Middle row, you have 3 minus 7 is a negative 4. And then 6, here you go, minus a negative 5. So that's plus a positive. So 6 plus 5 is 11. And then negative 3 minus 3 is a negative 6. And 4 minus a negative 4. So that's 4 plus a positive 4 is 8. And that will be your sum. Then you have E plus F. So you have a 1 by 3 plus a 3 by 1. And when you're adding, they have to have the same dimensions. This is opposite dimensions. So this is just does not exist. You don't need to do anything more with that. You're just done there. Then take a look at number 4. This is matrix B. And we are multiplying it by 5. So essentially you're just distributing that 5 to every single number. Your dimensions will stay the same. So 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times -1 is -5. And then move down a row. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 4 is 20. Make sure you're always multiplying because sometimes there's addition things happening. And that gives you different answers. So multiplying 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 2 is 10. And 5 times 5 is 25. Same idea with number 5. You're just multiplying one matrix by, in this case, a -3. So D is the matrix that we're looking at. And we are multiplying that matrix by a -3. So multiply everything here by -3. You should still get a 2 by 2 matrix when you're done. So -3 times -3 is a +9. -3 times 5 is a -15. -3 times 0 is 0. -3 times 2 is -6. Okay, same idea on C. You're going to take that 2 by 2 and multiply it by a half, which would be the same as dividing everything by 2, essentially. So half of 7, you would get 3.5. Half of 4, you get 2. Half of 3, you get 1.5. And half of 2, you get 1. All right, 7 gets a little bit fancier. So now you're taking 5 times C plus 2 times D. So it's a 2 by 2 and a 2 by 2. So we can add those together, but we got to multiply first. So here is your C matrix and your D matrix. And we are doing, so 5 times this first one plus 2 times that second one. So first we're going to multiply and then we will do our adding. So 5 times 7 is 35. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 2 is 10. And then we add to that, 2 times a -3 is -6. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 0 is 0. And 2 times 2 is 4. So now you have this 2 by 2 plus a 2 by 2, which is going to equal a 2 by 2. So 35 plus a -6, that's 29. 20 plus 10 is 30. 15 plus 0 is 15. And 10 plus 4 is 14. So they always sit in the same spot. And they should have the same dimensions when you are adding them together like that. All right, number 8. G is a 3 by 2 and A is a 3 by 2, so we can subtract those. So let's lay this out. G minus 2 times A so the first thing you want to do here is you want to multiply. It's PEMDAS, right? You multiply and divide before you add and subtract. So we want to do this part first, where we multiply everything. I'm actually just going to copy my G and drop it down here. And we're going to subtract the multiplied version. So 2 times 2 is 4. And don't distribute the minus sign because we're keeping the minus sign here. So just treat it like a 2 and we're multiplying by 2. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times -3 is -6. And 2 times 4 is 8. And now that we've multiplied, now we can do the subtraction. So your dimensions should stay the same. It needs to be a 3 by 2. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. 10 minus 0 is 10. 7 minus 6 is 1. Negative 5 minus 12 is a negative 17. 3 minus a negative 6, so that's plus a positive, right? Minus a negative becomes plus a positive, so 3 plus 6 is 9. And then negative 4 minus 8 is a negative 12. And that will be your matrix. Okay, then on to the multiplication stuff. This gets a little bit fancier and just kind of has a little more room for mistakes, I feel like. So C times D. Okay, first of all, you got to look at what C and D are. C and D are a 2 by 2 and a 2 by 2. So as long as those middle numbers are the same, which they are, then you can multiply them. So we're going to copy our C and D. Okay. So to multiply these two, try and highlight to show you what I'm doing here. So your dimensions, remember when it's a 2 by 2 times a 2 by 2, these have to be the same and you'll end up with the outside dimension. So we're going to end up with a 2 by 2 here. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger just for the sake of seeing all the pieces. So you start with first row, first column, and that's going to go in the first row, first column. So here's what you do. 7 times a negative 3, so negative 21, and we're going to add to that the second part. 4 times 0 is 0. That's going to be your top left. Okay, now go first row, the second column, and do the same thing. So it's going to be 7 times 5, so 35, plus 4 times 2, which is 8. So that's first row, first column, and first row, second column. Now we're going to move down, and we're going to do the second row, first column, and that's going to go right here. Second row, first column. So that is 3 times a negative 3 is a negative 9, plus 2 times 0, so that's 0. And then last one, we're going to go second row, second column. And that's going to end up in the second row, second column. So you're going to go 3 times 5 is 15. And then 2 times 2 is 4. And then you can simplify that and get negative 21 here. 35 plus 8, so 43. Negative 9 plus 0 is negative 9. And then 15 plus 4 is 19. And that will be your final answer. And that was a 2 by 2 when we were done. All right, number 10 is A times B. So this is a 3 by 2 times a 3 by 3. And those middle numbers are different, which means this does not exist. You cannot do it if your middle two numbers are not the same dimension. Okay, so then go to number 11, E times F. here's E, 1 by 3, here's F, 3 by 3. So this you can do, and your dimensions when you're done should be a 1 by 1. So you're going to take E and F. I drew a line through my... Uh-oh. Sorry, my pen stopped working. There we go. Okay, so take the F, put it here, and now we're going to multiply E times F. So again, this is a 1 by 3 times a 3 by 1, which means these are the same, so we can do it. It should be a 1 by 1 when we're done. So it's only going to be one deep here. You're going to go 4 times 2 is 8 plus negative 8 times 3, which is a negative 24. So really you could say minus 24. And then 10 times 4, which is 40. So we're going to add all those together. So this is 8 minus 24 plus 40 is 24. So that's your 1 by 1. That's your only number answer there. And you're done. Okay, number 12, A times C. So this is a 3 by 2 times a 2 by 2. Those two middle numbers, the 2's, are the same, so you can do it. So you're left with, then for an answer, a 3 by 2 is going to be your setup. Okay, so A times C. This thing doesn't like me right now, you guys. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, try this again. So A times C. Okay, so this is a 3 by 2 times a 2 by 2. So the two middle numbers being the same means, yep, we can do this, but your answer is going to be a 3 by 2. Okay. So we're going to multiply this. This is, and here's your setup. Okay. So it's going to be first row with first column. Okay. So first row, first column is going to end up right here on our answer. So this is going to be 2 times 7, so 14, plus 0 times 3, goes right like that. Okay, and then we move to first row, second column. So it's going to be 2 times 4, that's 8, plus 0 times 2, which is 0. Okay, then on to the next one. So now we're going to go second row, first column. So second row, first column will go right here. And we do 3 times 7, so that's 21. And 6 times 3 is 18. So that's that one. And then we do second row, second column. We'll go right here. So that's going to be 3 times 4 plus 6 times 2, like that. And then your last row, you have -3, 4 with your first column. That's going to go here. So this is going to be -3 times 7 is a -21. And 4 times 3 is 12. And then last one is your third row, second column. Third row, second column goes right here. And that is going to be -3 times 4, so -12. And 4 times 2 is 8. So this is your setup. You just need to simplify it a bit. So 14, 8, 39, 24, -9, and -4. Okay. So that's the setup when you are multiplying two that are different like that. B times G. B is a 3 by 3. G is a 3 by 2. So that's going to be a 3 by 2 when you're done with it. Here's B and G. So we're going to multiply first row with first column. So this is going to be -2 times 3 plus 1 times 7 plus -1 times 3. So you can just say -3 there. Then move to the next one. First row, second column. So we multiply -2 times 10. That's -20. 1 times -5 is a -5. -1 times -4 is a +4. So that'll be that top row there. And then we move to the second row. So second row, we'll go green here. Second row, first column is going to be 2 times 3, so 6. 0 times 7, so 0. And 4 times 3, which is 12. Then second row, second column, so 2 times 10 is 20. 0 times -5 is 0. 4 times -4 is a -16. And then the last row, first column, so 0 times 3 is 0. 2 times 7 is 14. 5 times 3 is 15. And then last row with the last column, 0 times 10 is 0. 2 times a -5 is a -10. And then 5 times -4 is a -20. You can just subtract those. So simplify that. And you get a -6 plus 7. So 1 minus 3 is a -2. -20 minus 5 is a -25. -25 plus 4 is a -21. 6 plus 0 plus 12 is 18. 20 plus 0 minus 16 is 4. This is 29. And this is -10 minus 20, so a -30. Okay. 14 is E times G. So it's a 1 by 3 times a 3 by 2. And that is doable, right? The 3's are the same, so you're going to end up with a 1 by 2. So E G. And we're going to multiply those. So this is going to be 4 times 3 is 12. This is going to be minus. Negative 8 times 7, so minus 56. And then 10 times 3 is plus 30. And then do the row with the second column. So 4 times 10 is 40. Negative 8 times negative 5 is a positive 40. And then 10 times negative 4 is a negative 40. And then you just simplify that. So you're going to go 12 minus 56 plus 30. Did I do that wrong? 12 minus 56 plus 30. Yeah, is a negative 14. And then this one, 40 plus 40 is 80, minus 40 is 40. So this will be your final answer. Okay. Okay, last little bit here. So the state the dimensions, okay? Matrix A is a 3 by 2, rows by columns. And then A112, that means in matrix A, the first row, the second column. So first row, second column. So that's where you want them to meet up. First row. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Okay, first row, second column. So the overlap of those is your element. So in this case, that's going to be 0. Okay, then you have matrix B. B is a 1, 2, 3 by 1, 2, 3. So a 3 by 3 matrix. And it's row 3. So row 3 is here. Column 2 is here. And where those meet up is at that 2. So your element would be 2 there. And then E is a 1 by 3 matrix, and it's saying in matrix E, the first row, the first row, but then the first column as well. So that's going to be the element 4. Okay. Last little bit here. This one you are solving. So this is going to be 2x minus, and now this has to get multiplied by everything first. So it's going to be 6 and negative 30 and 36 and 15 equals this guy. So then your next step, we're subtracting this matrix. So we're going to add this matrix to both sides. I'm not going to rewrite it there, but I'll rewrite it here. So 6, negative 30, 36, and 15. So when I add those, I get 0 plus 6, 15 plus 36, so that's 51, negative 1 plus negative 30, so negative 31, and then 10 plus 15 is 25. So you're here, and we're saying 2 times x. So if I want to get x by itself, I got to get that 2 out of there. So basically, you're just cutting everything in half, which means the matrix X is going to be the same dimensions, but cut in half. 3, negative 15.5, 25.5, and 12.5. Okay. The next one, you are going to first multiply. So this is going to be 50, 45, 40, 35. And then you have this guy over here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So to get rid of that, right now it's something plus x. So we want to get this out of here by subtracting it. So subtract it over here as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you subtract that, you get x equals, so it's 50 minus 1 is 49. 45 minus 2 is 43. 40 minus 3. So you're just finding the ones that are in the same spot, right? 40 minus 3 here is 37. And then 35 minus 4 is 31. And that will be your setup. Okay. Last thing. This one says solve for x and y. And it's saying this matrix is equal to this matrix, which means the parts have to match up. So the first part here has to be equal to that. And the second term element here is equal to the second element here. And the third is equal to the third. So if I'm solving for x, I'm just going to solve the equation 2x plus 1 equals -5. So take away 1, and 2x equals -6, and then divide by 2. So x equals -3. And then you'll do the same thing for your y. So here's y. That's equal to the -3 over here. So -3 equals y divided by 2. So if we're going to solve for y, we're just going to multiply both sides by 2. So y is -6. Okay. All right, last one. This is 10x has to equal -5. So 10x equals -5. We're going to divide by 10. So x equals -5 over 10, which is -1/2. And then we're done there. And then the last thing is the thing that everyone forgets. Those are equal. So y squared equals 49. And remember, when you square root both sides of an equation, you have to give plus or minus. What am I doing? 7. So y equals plus or minus 7. We made it. Good job. That is essentially what you're going to be doing on your quiz on Monday. Have a great weekend.